Hey guys, welcome back to part 2 of fixing a Falcon. If you didn't see part 1, a quick recap is this car's been sitting here for 15 years roughly, hasn't been moved, started, driven, anything. So it was actually just out there. So in part 1, I spent some time getting it running. Got it running, but not reliably running. There was a few problems with it, and so I had to order some parts for it, but we were in the middle of nowhere. There was no chance of getting the parts here, so I kind of had to... I filmed the first part, got it running, and then went back home, ordered some parts, and then once all the parts got here, then I come back. So that's why we've got 2-part series. This is the second part. So it is a 1991 EB Falcon. So it's got the 3.9 litre straight 6 in it. It is the, I think it's called the center point injection or something like that. It's got like the throttle body carby thingy on it. So it's got 2 injectors in like a throttle body sort of thing that looks like a carby. I think it's called center point injection, maybe. So it's kind of like the EA engine driveline, I think. So I think it's a September 91. But don't ask me when they started making it because I'm not sure. So basically, been sitting for 15 years, got it running in part 1 of this video series, and I've returned with the parts, hopefully, to get it running, driving, and I'm going to drive at 500 kilometers home. So the parts that I have ordered are just some spark plugs, starter motor, seat covers, so I don't get eaten by more spiders. If you've seen in part 1, there was a lot of spider webs, so that means there's a lot of spiders probably. A distributor, just a air filter, fire extinguisher for safety reasons, and the original number plate numbers that the car had before. So I had to register it and order new plates because I couldn't find the plates for it, and that's kind of why I ended up having to pull the pin on driving it home in part 1 of the series. So I had to wait about 10 days roughly for the number plates to actually get here. So that's why we have now returned to hopefully make this happen, get it driving and drive it home. So let's get to it. So the Falcon is fighting me. So I didn't document too much of it. I just went over and changed the starter motor, put a new coil in it, put a new distributor in it. So brand new out of the box. It's aftermarket. It's not genuine. Put the distributor in, no spark whatsoever. So put the old distributor back in and just swapped over the module, whatever it's called, I can't remember. And it had spark again, so I played around with the timing. Still couldn't get it to run very well. Pulled the new distributor apart, and there's a wire broken in it, brand new distributor. So not only was there a broken wire, the terminal wasn't plugged in where the wire was actually broken as well. So I fixed that and popped it back in, and she fired right up. So, but not the end of the problem. So I ended up finding, like it was hunting at idle, it would rev to like 2,000 RPM and then down to 500 and 2,000, and you could see the injectors were spraying fine. Played around with it a while, wriggled lots of plugs, and found out that the like map sensor in it was shagged. So unplugged the map sensor, and it ran all good. I found a split line going to it, because it's not directly on the manifold or anything. There's a line, like a hose going to it. That was split. Fixed that. Still didn't fix it. So I think that little module, which looks like this one. So I'm going to pull that apart in a minute. I'm sure there's just a series of resistors or something in there, so I'm going to suss that out. So, but also has an earth problem, so the indicators and lights and stuff don't really work the best. Might have been because I hosed it out, who knows. But I'm going to go over that in a second and suss that out. So I'm just chucking it back together. I've got the air intake and everything back on, finding bits and pieces. I don't have everything that I need, so I'm kind of dodging some of this stuff up. Added some trans fluid, and it does drive, it does move. So I'm just about to, pop the air filter back on and just double check the timing. I don't have a timing light. I'm going to try find a timing light. If not, it's going to get the old ear tune. But yeah, I'm going to pop it back together and just take it for a little lap around the block here and make sure it's all good. And then it should be good for 500 Ks after that. No worries. So let's see how we go. Go you, good thing. Yeah, the Falcon. So got it running pretty good, changed the oil. Oil actually looked really good in it for oil that hasn't been changed in probably 18 years. Maybe because I've run it a bit on that oil, I'm not sure. So yeah, dropped the oil, fresh oil in it. Now I've run into a small problem with some electrics in here. So so you turn the ignition on. I don't know where I've got the keys. Geez, that was a kerfuffle. I thought I'd lost the keys. Imagine that. Spent all this time getting it going and keys MIA. So there's this problem, and I actually found this problem. I was just going to check some lights on it, and I had no brake lights. I just pulled out the fuse for the brake lights and tested the voltage, and there was like 4 volts or something there, so obviously not enough. But I have run into this problem before, and you can see there's no indicators. Before there was like when the car was running, maybe it will do it now. You can't even see it, but no, they're not. So the indicator lights in here were stuck on. Still no indicator, as you can see. But the lights outside, the indicators outside weren't on. So because I have run into this problem before, I was pretty sure it was an earthing issue. So just to prove it, I've just done chucked an earth on, jumper lead earth on from the negative just to the negative on the body, just to check earthing. So I checked it from the battery to the motor and it was all good. So battery to earth, and now, as you can see, fans working. The speedo wasn't working before also, so I'm hoping that's just the earth problem too. Indicator working. So it's not getting a very good earth from the battery to the body of the car, so none of the electrics are working. Basically none of the fans, none of the lights, nothing like that. The headlights were just really dull. So I've just run back into the closest town and got a battery lead. So luckily there was somewhere where I could buy some material for one, and an air freshener. Probably the biggest thing in this car because it stinks. The old green apple isn't going to cut it, so we need that full strength in here. So yeah, I'm just going to chuck this negative lead on. I'm not too fussed where it goes at the moment. I'm just going to chuck it in there. Here we go, first actual drive. I'm going to try, whoa, tunes are cranked. I'm going to go and try and sit on the speed limit. So, oh God, I didn't account for this. Of all things, come on, seatbelt, what are you doing? There we go. Yeah, so the speedo not working. It must be electrical. It was obviously just the
That's like brake light's not working now.
that side.
Yeah.
Didn't put it in properly, maybe. Yeah, so it must have been the earth problem causing the speedo not to work, because it is now working. Trans could be better. Trans needs to warm up, obviously. Alright, let's go Falcon. Don't worry about that, that's just a melted window washer hose thing. Deal with that another day. Speedo works. Brakes. They work. Trans doesn't really work that well. Skids. Aircon's on full, window down. Train's definitely a bit slow, but don't worry about that. It's on the speed limit. Smell. So first gear definitely isn't the best in this trans. I need to double check the fluid in a minute, and hopefully we make some progress there. Skids. I think it's stuck in second. Definitely need some trans fluid or something. Do you reckon it does a skid? Rough. It skids. Checks out. So overall, trans is rough. Doesn't shift gears the best. First gear is not that great. Probably not concerned too much because probably going to manual converter. Brakes are actually pretty good. They're a bit smelly when you step on them a bit. It's a 5 out of 10. It's actually like it's not too bad. It's just on the speed limit alright and stuff. So this drive home might be okay. We'll see. It does have a weird steering wheel shake. I think you can really see it. So, and I didn't put new tyres on it. So these 20-plus-year-old tyres, hopefully they hold up. So they don't look great, but I will keep an eye on them. Hopefully. See how we go. Great success. We made it back on the test test for the test drive test. So this got cut up for a like SES training or something, exercise years and years ago. Imagine the possibilities. Mazda Capella. So awesome. So sad. What could have been, hey? Heck, I think I could save this. What do you reckon? Should I drag this out, weld the roof back on, try and get it running? I reckon I could save it. Leave me a comment below if you reckon I should try and give this one a crack. I guess it really depends on how rusty those floor pans are, because she's been sitting in that dirt for a while. Alright, the trip starts here. Wheel the old girl, make it 500 Ks. So it's 8:30 or something in the morning currently. Hoping to be home by like 4 in the afternoon. So yeah, I'm gonna go fill up with fuel and then hit the road. Lucky it's highway driving most of it, so but 500 Ks, let's do it. So I'm about 5 Ks in, maybe a little more. I'm only sitting on 100 because the tyres are pretty shagged, so they got some flat spots or whatever. So they're a bit vibrating, so I don't want them to explode, you know, in the first 5 minutes of driving. So probably should have got new tyres, at least a pair of them. There's 2 that are pretty good, so I ended up putting them on the front. And the 2 with the like flat spots in them I put on the back because they haven't been pumped up for 15 years. So 495 kilometers to go. Okay, first actual fuel stop, so I'm hoping if I turn it off and start it back up, it will actually start. Last fuel for 160 Ks, that means that there's not another town for 160 kilometers, so. covered in crumbs. I've just been having a healthy, nutritious, delicious snack. So first question probably, why an EB Falcon? I mean, they're not like a classic or desirable probably, but I had the opportunity to get it. I saved it from going to scrap basically. So like years ago, like I know the people that I got the car off, and years ago I mentioned to them if they ever sold it I'd probably be keen on buying it, so they decided it was going to scrap, so they offered for me to grab it, so I did, and I figured I'd try and make a video out of it, because I think it would lead into the next question that people would ask is what am I going to do with it. So I think it'll get a manual gearbox, and I'll do a basic budget drift car out with it. Like, this thing isn't going to make much power. What's it going to make? 100 horsepower, 130 horsepower? It'll make nothing, but I kind of want to, just low budget mods, like cut and shut everything. I want to get it on 15s, so ideally I will use the Corolla's wheels, so I'll convert it to 4-stud, just run it real low. Depending, I'd like to just have it as whether it would work out, like a car that you can drive to the track and drive it home, but the closest tracks aren't that close to me, so that might not work out, but so convert it to 4-stud, run 15s on it, and hopefully use the old, because we have so many half tread tyres that aren't worth putting back on the Corollas. Hopefully use the old tyres from the Corollas on this, but see how that pans out. So how long did it take me to make this video with the 2 parts? So the car is about 5.5 hours drive from my house. So the car's actually just west of Kimba in South Australia, so halfway across Australia technically, from our house in the Barossa in South Australia also. It's about 5.5 hours drive. So I've done one trip over and back a couple weeks ago for the first episode, and now I've done the second trip back to pick the car up with all the parts and everything that I need to actually make it happen. So another 5.5 hours each way, so there's, 22 hours just of travel. Hopefully nothing goes wrong, touch wood, and it doesn't take me longer to get home, but we'll see. And I probably spent 20 hours, say, at least, I think, working on the car, getting it up to spec of running and driving. Did it all myself, obviously, so it's just, time consuming. Some things, when you're trying to turn the car over to find top dead center, or you're trying to, get the car running, you want to put some fuel in the car, where you got to do, start it and then go around and put some fuel in, and sometimes it's just better with 2 sets of hands. In my job, where I work, I do a 4-on, 4-off roster, so it kind of works out alright. I can pop over here for a couple of days between my swings at work. So I've got a real busy month coming up, basically. So it's currently the end of November. So I've got a couple 2Js to build in the next month. I've got to redo a lot of things on my wagon. Got to pull some shocks out of B2, send them back to Shockworks to get rebuilt. Also ordered some brakes for B2, so they should be here this week hopefully. So we'll do a brake upgrade on the front of B2, because Nick noticed on the weekend, and we've known for a while how unreliable the brakes can be in that car. You can't really left foot brake at all, and in tandem you need a lot of, it's a good habit to get into, using left foot brake to when you're chasing a car, rather than being on and off the handbrake. You can just rest your foot on the left foot brake, rest your foot on the brakes as you're chasing, and it'll just hold the car nicely, nice fluid positioning and stuff. So front brake upgrade coming for B2 also, and just a general clean up of both cars. So I've got some wiring and stuff to fix in my car, in the wagon. Busy, very busy next month. Not enough days in the month. So I'm going to be, obviously with Christmas and stuff coming up too, I still have to work over Christmas. I don't get days off. So it's not like I can just plan around holidays and stuff, because that doesn't happen. So yeah, busy month coming up too. As I said in the last video, if you do like seeing this kind of video, let me know. Chuck a comment below, because if it's something that people enjoy, then I can, like I said, I have the opportunity to do more of these videos. Or do I just stick with the drifting content and not worry about these sort of videos? Like I said, this will kind of progress into a drifting video anyway, because I'm going to do a budget build on this car, under $1,000 to build it and to drift it, sort of thing. So see how that pans out. The other thing, I guess, is how's the trip going? Well, my fuel gauge doesn't work because it's obviously not in the right spot in the tank, and it goes up over full and then cuts out, so that's empty. My temp gauge doesn't work, that hasn't moved the whole trip, so that's kind of concerning. But I've done the mechanical temperature gauge trick, so I've got the old fresh air on from outside the car. So if I can start smelling something burning or start smelling coolant, then it's probably getting hot. But so far so good. Also, it's starting to rain and I slept on it and didn't get windscreen wipers, so I can't see much out of the windscreen. I tried putting the wipers on before, big mistake, just made a mess. But yeah, otherwise, so far so good. I'm about 100 kilometers into 500 kilometers. So we've got about 4.5 hours to go, probably, something like that. So almost at the next fuel stop, probably 50 kilometers from the next fuel stop. I don't need more fuel because I know it's probably over 3/4 of a tank still, but because my fuel gauge isn't working and there's not many fuel stops out here, I'm just going to get fuel just in case, because you never know, and I don't want to run out. I do have a jerry can on board, but hopefully it doesn't come to that. Alright, let's keep trucking. I can't see shit, or I can not see anything. This is my view currently because I haven't got windscreen wipers because I snoozed on it. See, I like Windex to be over here, so it's kind of working a bit, but I forgot to do this area on the windscreen. So I made it to Port Augusta, so about an hour and a half, hour and 40 minutes in, and so far so good. All I need is windscreen wipers, brake light, and some race fluid. So I gave the Falcon a quick once over in the car park. Hasn't used any coolant. Everything else looks alright. Put windscreen wipers on. Some old bloke come up to me halfway through me putting them on, trying to tell me how to do it, telling me I got the wrong ones. Yeah, mate. No worries, champion. Yeah, I think I can change window wipers, mate. I think my mechanical knowledge stretches that far. So yeah, just about to get some fuel. But yeah, hour and a half in, whatever it is, hour and 40 minutes in. Going alright. Next stop, other than fuel, bakery. Back on the road. The old Falcon's showing a couple signs of not liking it. So the map sensor, or it not having a map sensor, it's obviously running a bit ridge. Went through a fair bit of fuel on that first leg of the journey, and yeah, it doesn't idle. really. So I kind of got to keep my foot on the accelerator just to keep it idling. So it's probably just like fouled plugs or something, or yeah, I don't know, something just from the map sensor not talking or something. But for now, it's running. As long as I keep that foot on the accelerator, good to go. So also, I didn't work at average, but my maths was average at best. So I think we're about 200 kilometers in and about 300 to go. Bakery review. Stone Hut Bakery. Good. All right, 150 k's to go, I think. 150 kilometers left. Maybe 300 and something down. It's going pretty well. To be honest, the thing that is going to stop this getting home, if there is anything, will be the trans, because it's a bit shaky, and like keep checking the fluid. It's not losing fluid or anything, so it's obviously had it, but you can feel it like slips a lot in first, and then because the engine doesn't have the map sensor on it at the moment, it's kind of just like running rich, and when it gets lower in the revs, it gets a bit like jolty and stuff. So, but soldiering on. She made it home in one piece. Honestly, I don't believe it. It was pretty much trouble-free, other than like just some little bits and pieces and topping up the trans fluid every time we stopped, because it's like it doesn't read right or something on the dipstick. So towards the end there, the trans actually was starting to feel pretty good. But yeah, like I said, don't believe it. Go the Falcon. So if you do like seeing this kind of video, make sure you hit the like button or just leave me a comment. Like I said earlier, I can do more of this style of video. They're like, will it drive, will it run videos. There's gonna be a lot of stuff coming up on this car. Like I said, it's gonna be a budget drift build, so I'm gonna start hunting for a manual conversion for it, and some parts, stocking up some parts, whether I'm going to try fit S13 front in it or whether I'm going to go a different route. Same thing with the axles. I'm going to pull them out and probably re-drill them to 114.4 by 4. So 4 stud. But yeah, that's for next video anyway on this car. To be honest, this next month is going to be pretty hectic by starting prep on this Corolla on B1 and B2 because we are taking them both to Summer Nats this year. So if you're going to Summer Nats, both cars will be there and you can come and get a ride in either of them. Yeah, so you want to stay up to date on budget Falcon drifting build and Corollas, make sure you hit the subscribe button. Thanks for watching, guys. See you next time. So what do you think? 15-inch 4-stud conversion. So small tyre, small wheel, like S13 front, and convert the rear to 4-stud. Manual, coilovers, etc. low, real low. Or stock hubcap, wider wheel, wider tyre, low, maybe a turbo, auto. Let me know what you reckon. I'm in two minds, to be honest, but I really got this to turn into a cheap budget drift car. I want to teach a few people to drift, so that was the plan with it. But yeah, now I'm not sure. Second guessing myself now.